During the recent LA fires, for those who were affected by the devastation and for those who were safe at home watching the news in horror, it was a crystallizing moment.
A moment of clarity.
Because you can't help but think, what would you do in that situation? If your home was threatened, if you had to pack a bag and flee, what would you take with you? I know I was definitely thinking about that when
the new Sunset Fire broke out on top of the Hollywood Hills,
and a mandatory evacuation zone was established right up the street. Spoiler alert, we're fine. The dogs are fine. The apartment's still standing. But when a bit later an evacuation warning zone crept to within a block of our apartment and all the roads around us became a veritable parking lot of cars attempting to escape Rome as it burned, we didn't want to be left holding the fiddle. So, accompanied by a soundtrack of car honks, sirens, helicopters, and air tankers, we packed our bags. One bag each. And that was the moment when the hypothetical became real. We had to look at all our stuff and decide what mattered and what didn't. If you've seen my other videos, and please subscribe and watch them if you haven't, you know that I have a sort of love-hate relationship with capitalism. On one hand, it's a horribly destructive force to the psyche of a human being because it's a system based on winners and losers, but mostly on losers. Poverty is necessary for capitalism to thrive, and when unchecked, it leads to rampant wealth inequality, exploitation of labor, the degradation of the environment, laissez-faire consumerism, materialism, the wholesale commodification of basic needs, not to mention the monopolization of major industries yielding oligarchical influence over political systems, thereby undermining the very foundation of a democratic republic of
democracy!
among other social ills. But on the other hand, I like nice things. And while I didn't choose to be born into this system, I was born into this system, and in a spiritual sense, karmically, it is incumbent upon me to, get stupid rich. Sorry. To make the best of it. I gotta make the best of it. If you're thrown in a pool, you might as well swim. If for no other reason, then it's a hell of a lot better than drowning. The problem is, not everybody knows how to swim. And if I may extend this metaphor a bit further, and I usually do, part of the reason I got into investing a decade ago, the reason I became a real estate agent, it's not just so I could learn how to swim, but so I could be of aid and comfort to those who are barely staying afloat, who find themselves forever treading water, who typify capitalism's downtrodden, splashing about, grasping desperately for a giant floating door. There were so many times in my life when I could have used a lifeline, and there just wasn't one available. Which brings me back to what really matters, because it's not money. It can't be, right? We all know that. And yet, when I was running around my apartment preparing to evacuate, I grabbed money, or at least the items that would ensure I could get money. My wallet, my passport, my social security card. But with apologies to all my Italian relatives who are crazy sensitive about this topic, it's not family that reigns supreme either.
You don't turn your back on family.
You wouldn't expect an abused child to respect the father or mother who's abusing them, no matter what the Ten Commandments or Vin Diesel say. And yet, all I cared about was that my wife and my dogs, my family and I, stayed together. Because to me, in this life, they're all that matters. If you're picking up on a vaguely paradoxical theme in this video, I love the capitalism that concerns me, I love the family I chose, I love the money I say doesn't matter, yeah, you're not wrong.
He's a prophet and a pusher. Partly truth, partly fiction. Walking contradiction.
But the test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposing ideas in mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function, said F. Scott Fitzgerald. So let me try to reconcile that contradiction for you and for me. The answer to what really matters is not money or family or health or safety. It could be all of those, or it could be none of them. The answer is fame. I'm kidding. That's not no. The answer to what really matters is not much. And that's incredibly good news. Because while I'm not suggesting you have to become a minimalist, knowing or occasionally remembering that there's very little in this life that's truly important, that allows you to hold on lightly to all the rest of the stuff, all the detritus of our materialistic existence.
The things you own end up owning you.
By vastly limiting your notion of what's important to basically what you can carry and what's in your heart, the chain that shackles your happiness to a private jet or winning an Academy Award is broken. It becomes impossible to connect your happiness to owning that plane or winning that Oscar. Acquisition, status, ego, none of it matters. What really matters is what really matters to you. It's a deeply personal and intimate question that only you can answer. And I know that sounds like a cop-out, like the answer is whatever you think it is, but that's not what I'm saying. You're missing the point. Pay attention. It's not the answer that matters. What matters is that the list is brief, like great loves or true friendships or actually good Francis Ford Coppola movies. The catalog of what's essential to you can be counted on one hand with fingers left over. It could be anything, but it can't be everything.
The only things I care about in this goddamn life are me and my drums and you.
For me, and for a lot of people, these fires were the crucible in which the clarity that I mentioned at the beginning of this video was forged. To be happy, to be truly happy, you don't need much. And that's a belief that I hope within me will never be extinguished. I'll see you in the next one. Oh yeah, don't judge me, but when I was running around deciding what to take, I wasn't going to take the camera, or the microphone, or the lights, or that guy. So yeah, none of this is necessary, is it?